Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, don't do unboxings. Might do a few playthroughs. We generally like to talk a lot of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general, and in this video we're going to be talking about a tile laying game. We're going to be talking about Wilmot's Warehouse, and in this game you will be placing tiles out onto the board. You'll be trying to memorise where the fuck you place them and hopefully tell a story along the way. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules, telling you what we do like, what we don't like. Then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Wilmot's Warehouse is worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. We'll see you after this. Bollocks. So, Wilmot's Warehouse, as you play this game. So Wilmot's Warehouse is a tile laying game in the vein of those really shitty memory games that you used to play as a kid, where you'll be flipping these cards over, trying to remember where you placed matching tiles, right? You're going to put the board out in the center of the table. You're going to select 35 random tiles and you put them in 5 stacks of 7 in the designated spaces, right? You'll place one mandatory idea card on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday slots at the bottom of the board, yeah? And you'll place the customer cards next to the board. So on your turn, you're going to draw a tile from the relevant stack, right? You're going to reveal it and the first tile is going to go in the center of the table face down, yeah? You'll have to discuss where you think you should place this tile. You might make up like a story or make some sort of association with each of the tiles, yeah? Because the next tile that you're going to place is going to have to go adjacent to it, yeah? You can't place diagonally, it's going to have to be orthogonally. So once you've placed a tile on the board, then you can't move it, you can't look at it again. You're going to place it face down, yeah? That's it, you're done. Once you get to Tuesday, and I always seem to see you next Tuesday, you're going to reveal a mandatory idea card, and this will kind of give you like a hindrance and generally fuck things up for you, yeah? But the rulebook does say that if you don't want to pay attention to this mandatory idea, then you don't have to, which is a little bit weird and a little bit decent at the same time. So once you have placed all 35 tiles out onto the board, then you'll end up with the customer rush phase, yeah? You'll set a timer for 5 minutes and you'll have that amount of time to figure out where you placed all the tiles, right? You have a big stack of customer cards and you'll have to go through them trying to find the ones that you think you placed, and then you'll have to find them on the board. This is where it helps if you've had a decent story to tell as you've been placing your tiles, yeah? So once you've found or not found all of the tiles that you placed, you'll do a bit of final scoring, yeah? There's like one of these typical charts that tells you how well you did, and you'll find the time that you did. You'll get 10 seconds added to your basic time for every tile that you fucked up, and then you'll look at a chart and it might give you something like this. It will say if you did it over 5 minutes, then you're prohibited from sleeping at work, or if you somehow miraculously managed to do it in under 1 minute, which is fucking impossible, it will say, how did you do that? Well, report to management immediately. So yeah, a little bit of an anticlimax with this game with the shitty score chart, yeah? But if you manage to get a decent time, I suppose you could claim that you've won Wilmot's Warehouse. So what do we like about Wilmot's Warehouse? So the first thing that we really like about this game is that it is an absolute blast for the first couple of games, yeah? As you're pulling the tiles out of the bag, making associations with all of the different tiles, it's going to be like opening the entrance to an Aladdin's cave, yeah? It feels as if the possibilities of this game are endless when you are playing it for the first couple of times, yeah? It's a party game, essentially, yeah? It works best in small doses, and if you can avoid playing this regularly, then I think you're going to have a good time with it, you know? So the second thing that we really like about Wilmot's Warehouse is that the rules allow you to ignore the mandatory idea cards. Now this is a bit weird because A, it means they're not mandatory, and B, why put them in there in the first place, yeah? But some of them are really difficult, so it is kind of welcome when you can ignore some shit that's going to fuck you up royally, you know? So the final thing that we really like about Wilmot's Warehouse is the final customer rush does give you an elevated heart rate, yeah? Which means it's going to be burning more calories, you fat bastards. And as the clock is running down to those 5 minutes, you do start to panic and think, fucking hell, where did I put Donald Trump's toupee? Yes, that is a card in this game, you know? So yeah, there is a frenetic end to this game, not counting the shitty final scoring, but it can be tense and exciting towards the end of this game, you know what I mean? Don't we like about Wilmot's Warehouse? So the first thing that we don't like about it is this game gets bloody repetitive after more than 2 games, yeah? Once you've seen all the tiles, game's basically sort of dead because you're just going to be repeating the associations that you had with previous games, yeah? I found this to be a real boring slog after my 3rd game, and it just felt sort of lifeless, like you're going through the motions thinking, oh, there's that tile again. Depending on what tile comes out, maybe I could link it to something that we've done before, and more often than not, that is what happens. This game felt a little bit lifeless, and the initial rush that you get for playing this game dissipates more quickly than a hallucination on salvia. So the second thing that we didn't really like about this game is that on the box it tells you to come up with stories, right? And that isn't really what happens when you play this game, yeah? You're not really going to be making any kind of logical story out of the game because the tiles are so abstract. You're going to end up with like an abstract story. More often than not, you're going to be thinking, well, that looks like, say, like an elephant's foot or something, so therefore we're going to put it at the bottom. And then you just think, well, what could we put underneath that? It's got nothing to do with any kind of story. There's no narrative that you're creating here, and it just ends up being a load of fucking bullshit nonsense. So if you're looking for like a storytelling game, go for like something like Tales of the Arabian Nights or something like that. This is just fucking bollocks, really. So the final thing that we don't like about Wilmot's Warehouse is it's too fucking easy, yeah? The first game was a little bit chaotic. We didn't manage to do it in less than 5 minutes, but the second and third games, we had no trouble finding where stuff was because, like we said, you're going to make the same associations with different tiles. They all link in together, and you're going to have no trouble finding where they are. The rulebook does give you options, I think it does, to make the game more challenging, but I really couldn't be fucked with it after like 3 games, yeah? I got bored with it, and I think I'm going to get rid of it. So is Wilmot's Warehouse worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we are going to say no. Wilmot's Warehouse is a neat twist on the age-old memory flip game. You know, those fucking annoying games that your parents used to get you when you were 5 years old that you fucking hated then and you probably still hate now. It's mesmerising for the first couple of games, but once the novelty wears off and you peel back the 1 or 2 layers that this game has to offer, Wilmot's Warehouse reveals itself to be a hollow experience bereft of any longevity. It's done nothing to change my mind, and that is that memory games suck arse. So there you go. That is Wilmot's Warehouse. Remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See you next time.